Alrighty folks, so we're going to be looking at this practice trig proof here. We have secant x times the quantity of secant x minus cosine x. We're trying to show that it's equal to tangent squared. So we're going to do step one, which is we're going to change everything into sine and cosine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that here. So if you notice, what we get is this is 1 over cosine times secant is 1 over cosine minus just cosine. I'm going to put that over 1. Okay. Now notice the right hand side, I'm just going to leave it as tangent. Okay, so we're not going to really touch that. And then if you notice here, these are distributing, so I'm going to multiply these out here. And then what I get is 1 over cosine squared x. Right, because that's cosine. 1 over cosine times 1 over cosine is 1 over cosine squared. Minus, we get 1 over cosine x times cosine x over 1. And then theoretically, this is somehow equal to tangent squared. And if we notice here, these cancel out. You're just left with 1 over 1 is 1. So you're left with 1 over cosine squared x minus 1 somehow is equal to tangent squared x. And if you notice here, we have fractions. So we're subtracting fractions, so we need the LCD, which is, you can call this, we change this to 1 over cosine x, 1 over cosine squared x minus 1 over 1. The LCD is clearly cosine squared, so this needs a cosine squared over cosine squared. So then what we get, we multiply this way, and we get 1 over cosine squared x minus cosine squared x over cosine squared. And then we simplify this, and now that they have a common fraction, what we can do is we can just add them, right? Or subtract them and put them under one denominator. So it's cosine squared x underneath 1 minus the quantity of cosine squared x. And we should know that 1 minus cosine squared x is sine squared x, and that 1 minus sine squared x is cosine squared x. So we have this one here, so this one is just this guy. So we're going to substitute in sine squared here, so we get sine squared x over cosine squared x, which is tangent squared, which is what I wanted. Put here equal to tangent squared x, and we're done.